interested in a lot of things in this draft. I think the mid lane pool, we know that Nukeduck has a champion Ocean, but we saw like kind of the oddball picks with the Sona. Then he went for the Corki, which is now of course nerfed.
VEIGAR as well.
And Zeri yesterday, and I wonder if that's not going to be immediately taken off the table.
I really wonder what the mid picks are going to be for Nukeduck specifically. Of course, the players are on stage, but the most interesting matchup to me is top. Adam versus Finn. We've seen Finn on carries, we've seen on AP Malphite, we've seen Adam on his wacky picks and Camille, but I think it might be a carry versus carry top matchup, and it might be all for top lane for both these two teams. But again, XL, bot lane always seems to be the most consistent rock win condition for them over the last few years with Patrik.
It definitely has been, and I think the big thing here is that I think XL have the flexibility to play anywhere that they want to. I think attacking Adam has proven to be a strong avenue, and I wouldn't be surprised if they take it, but they showed us yesterday they can adjust on the fly. Part of that because Mikyx and Nukeduck are ready to play literally anything, but Finn is also no slouch when it comes to champion pool. So I hope some Team BDS have maybe 1 or 2 spicy picks prepared to try to get an edge over XL, because if this draft goes like yesterday's draft went, BDS are going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and already with Renekton and Gwen bans, the first thing that comes to mind is Jayce for both these top laners. Will it get picked up? Will it get banned away on the 4-5? Early rotated on red side, 1-2, and we saw that, I think it was from Vitality themselves, Jayce Ryze 1-2, Finn slams the Malphite, so maybe that's a trap that they have to be wary of. But as you were talking about Shocks, the mid lane pool, there goes Nukeduck's VEIGAR, which I believe Showmaker played today as well, so it's finding its way around the world.
Yeah, and generally I think the VEIGAR is just so strong in this patch, offers so much, and obviously the baby cage is just one of the most ludicrously broken abilities in the game, so it never hurts to have that on your team composition, especially if you're pairing it with another hyper carry. But with Zeri now banned away, some of the first pick options are limited. Both the premier bot laners are open, Aphelios and Jinx, as well as LeBlanc. Yes, she was hit, but she was popular. Instead, we're seeing Ryze. Big comfort pick for NUCLEARINT.
Definitely is, and also a quick thing to mention here. I don't want to kind of die on this sword, but I think TF was banned every game yesterday, and we didn't see it a single time on 12-3 after the nerfs. This time around, it's open. I doubt it'll be picked up into Ryze. We talked about Patrik's Aphelios, the reason XL were winning against Fnatic and Vitality. He was doing so much damage in fights, and they've given it over to XL again. Aphelios and Zhao, very standard 1-2 coming out, can pick support on 3, mid lane on 3, top lane on 3, ban away 2 to make sure that pick's safe, and give counter pick to 5 pick for top or support. You expect Lee Sin already going to match up here. Will they pick AD? We've seen xMatty play Varus, we've seen things like Senna. Are we going to see maybe just a Jinx match here for scaling?
I wouldn't mind utility AD carries either. The Jayce is a bit risky. We're going to have the same solo lane options that Vitality brought out yesterday. It's an easy Malphite pickup. And the thing is, yes, Jayce has advantages early on, but the threat of the All-In the second the Malphite hits level 6 means if a jungler's ever in your lane, you die. So it's a bit high stakes here. That's it. Irelia coming out. Yeah. Again, I said it yesterday, but feast or famine champion. We've seen Aurelia's mostly do nothing so far in the league. So I am excited to see what Finn's interpretation of this is, if it is Finn's, because he is a legendary Irelia in solo queue.
He is a monster on Irelia on solo queue. I think it's one of his most played champions. He's so mechanically good at this champion. We see him in so many highlight clips already on social media and things like this. So could have picked Malphite into Jayce Lee Sin, did it yesterday. Meh, can't be bothered to play a tank anymore, young, but get me my Irelia, play topside, and that's exactly what we expected from draft with Jayce being open, early rotated, both teams playing topside, Jinx taken away because they didn't early rotate themselves, so XL will feel more comfortable towards the bot lane. And Dracos, Mickey talked to us in Euphoria about TF support. It's open, and he was laughing on stage. I've just got this gut feeling that he's going to lock it in for his side laner. I don't know why.
I did not think that's where you were going to go. I'll believe it when I see it, Mr. Lamont. What I will say is that Team BDS have put themselves in an awkward situation. I think if you take nameplates off, it's not a bad first 3 picks, but you're up against Nukeduck, and so you know what? You're going to ban the standard meta mid laners.
Exactly.
But this guy has such a deep pool. You don't even know what's the actual effective target to take. Now, conventional bans, LeBlanc, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. You could ban this with Fate. Syndra could come out as well. Maybe if you're worried about something like the Cassio, that's a little bit more obscure. It's only VTO who's played that so far. But what do you ban against Nukeduck?
Yeah, he's shown us a lot of wacky picks, so I think he won't struggle. I mean, there was obviously the Nukeduck champion Ocean we had once a couple of years ago. He can pick pretty much anything. You could pick mid lane here and counter support, which would probably be the best, but Nautilus being open is very powerful into these kind of carry tops. The only problem you'll run into is if they go for a Braum counter pick, but we'll see if they worry about that whatsoever. The safest option is just to go for mid. Echo would surprise me if they're going to go Echo into Ryze. Normally that's being picked into Syndra. Don't you dare pick Corki. No. We said it today at the start of the show that Corki is not being picked anymore in the LEC, but he's back. He's back, and there's just a quick hit on Corki. Package spawns every 5 minutes. Lasts for 1 minute. Dragon spawns every 5 minutes, but your package is now 6 minutes, of course, because of the 1 minute lasting time. So harder to fight around dragons, and it's not up for Herald.
Yeah, basically you have to pick which objectives you're going to use it to fight over. You cannot have it for every dragon, ever. It's just not going to work that way.
We have it right after, which is really great.
Yeah, well, you have it right now. That's not bad. You know, maybe you can clean up if we want to get really desperate with it. But Leona, good engage option, I think important with such a squishy composition. Jhin is a utility AD carry. I like this for xMatty. He's struggled a little bit on the hyper carry options. I think giving him a utility carry makes his job much easier.
Yeah, Braum into Aftershock supports makes a lot of sense. You blind Nautilus, you blind Leona, you're probably going to get the Braum treatment, of course, because just does naturally very well into Aftershock supports. Could go for something like Rakan here, but it loses the lane a little bit. I think Rakan makes sense though, because what I was going to say is has very good team fight and very good follow-up with Irelia. They have a lot of kind of single target damage squishy champions, and you need to gap close on them. Picking Braum there, your engage tool is what, in Irelia, a Corki package. I think Rakan going in first and Irelia being follow-up is a lot more healthy for their composition overall. And as much as Braum would win you the lane, Rakan is just better for the comp.
So if we follow kind of the order of what happened, you were leaning towards the Excel comp much more after the first initial picks came out. How much did that Corki bring down the totality of the draft?
I mean, I think the Corki gives him a little bit of poke. I wonder what he's going to build. I'll hold my breath for now. He could still go shield
does
bow.
a ton of damage,
Exactly.
I will say. So, like, yes, the package is gone, and yes, the package was the most broken part of the kit, but it's still a solid poke option. Helps you match some of what the Jhin and the Jayce are bringing to the table. I will say that Team BDS's comp feels more stable overall. Excel's comp, the Rakan's going to be vulnerable early on. The Irelia, again, feast or famine is always the name of the game, I feel like.
I'm leaning towards Excel comp because I think the Irelia matchup's so volatile, but in Irelia's favor, even if she's behind, she can always solo kill the Jayce. This game will be all about side lanes, and the worry I have for Excel's Corki pick is if Ryze gets push, it's going to go top side. It's going to be a top side bloodbath, I presume. Whichever side laner gets ahead should have more pressure on the map.
Also, freest ninja tabbies of BDS's life. That's 4 champions who want to auto attack. If they build anything else, I will be sad.
Sometimes pro players just, they don't build the one thing that they should be building that is useful against
Play
everything.
steel caps. Sorry, they're not ninja tabbies anymore.
Let's see what happens in our first game of the day. Excel versus Team BDS.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else. Welcome to Summoners Rift. Team BDS taking on Excel. I am Quickshot, joined at the caster desk by Nymaera once again. And we have a very interesting draft once more. What is your first thoughts as we were watching this play out?
Okay, so part of it's narrative, part of it is analysis in this too, because, hi there, how's it going? You look at this top lane matchup, this is the opposite sides of the matchup where Adam got absolutely slammed against G2. Now, I think in this comp, I'm going to completely echo what Kadriel said. It does seem like there is a burden of responsibility on Adam to not do what he did yesterday, to not necessarily fall into those deficits he did do against G2 as well, because Jayce is so pivotal to this comp in terms of playing around these objectives, but is so vulnerable on these side lanes as well. So for me, side lane matchup between the Jayce and the Irelia, that's the first place my eyes drawing.
Oh, that's makes me a little nervous.
A little bit.
Because Adam has had some, shall we say, interesting plays recently. And of course, Kadriel was mentioning it as well, that even if Finn does fall a little bit behind on this Irelia, the matchup is possible for Irelia to get kills. And then
100%.
Finn was a beast in solo queue on this champion, so he'll know how to get the most out of it.
Irelia has also had a lot of good buffs in terms of the itemization around it. Irelia's always going to be a good Blade champion. Huge buffs on this patch, amongst other things. We'll talk to them as they start getting built up because they're a big hallmark of this patch.
They absolutely are. Taking a look at the junglers. Cinkrof starting off on his red, Markoon on the blue, and a little bit of a pull there from Mikyx, I think that was, and start off on the Grump. And Excel are going to be pretty happy that Patrik is once again on the Aphelios. He's looked very, very good on that champion, and Excel are able to coordinate very well as Mikyx just trying to trade a tiny bit there with Lynx.
So once again, Patrik has a similar kind of responsibility on his own team to get to those 2 items. Spikes, be such a big damage dealer. What I was impressed yesterday, actually, firing back to that, was the rest of the team actually stepped up and matched Patrik. You look at these solo laners of Nukeduck and Finn, they did a really good job yesterday as well. So I'm looking to see how the ensemble performance of XL reprises itself today.
Ooh, Nukeduck getting nuked by NUCLEARINT with those nukes in the middle lane. So much damage traded back and forth.
More,
I cannot wait. I can't wait for them to kill each other in team fights. I'm going to go ballistic. And of course, up in that top lane, Adam is already starting to push a little bit forward. Cinkrof, level 3.
Romp into top, level 3 very early, making his way up there. Very clearly put the target there.
Well, Adam's going to get jumped on here by Finn. Changes into Mercurial Hammer. Finn forced to flash for his life. Adam, first blood.
Never mind trying to survive the matchup. Adam stamps home his place in the top side. Had his jungler there as the extra summoner spell. Adam, first blood.
I mean, Finn... Did Finn throw himself into Adam's hammer? That's what it looked like to me.
I mean, level 2, it's an Irelia power point. You do get that reset on the Q, does manage to stack that up a couple of times, but Jayce is a very notorious early game champion as well. It's really past the level 6 point where you can start getting those triple Qs where it gets very, very dangerous. Just miscalculation, plain and simple.
Yeah, well, Finn gets punished for it. Loses his flash, loses his life, loses his teleport. And the first blood was picked up by Adam. And that is very, very important because literally everything we've said up until this point was how pivotal or how impactful Adam's Jayce is going to need to be in this game. And already you see Mikyx and Limit making their way towards the middle lane, but Limit's going to flash forward there, catches onto Nukeduck, is caught up by the Overload, burning from the Ignite, the minion auto chases him, and Nukeduck escapes with his life. That was so close.
Oh, and Markoon, serious MVP, going in for another bite.
Well, NUCLEARINT's going to be the target for now. 200 hit points available, down to 100. He stays alive. Finn gets taken out by Adam. We're 4 minutes in, 2 kills, and fights in every single lane.
I am beginning to think that the LEC scriptwriters have handed us the most monstrous early game, so we don't get a chance to talk about these players because they're putting everything straight onto our screens. All the lanes getting involved, got supports throwing up to that mid, top laners doing it themselves, and this pivotal matchup at that top side has a Dirk early for that Jayce. Irelia is seriously going to struggle to hold the wave at the right point and take these harder trades now.
I mean, that Shock Blast is going to hit so hard.
Like a truck.
And of course, in the middle lane, both Nukeduck and NUCLEARINT able to escape with their lives, but all the summoners were blown. Mikyx and Limit have been roaming around.
Where's this replay going? Where are we starting?
I don't even know. There's been so much action. So this was the second kill.
Yeah, this is the off-screen kill. So see Finn actually gets decent value out of most of his kit, but the accelerated shock blast doesn't go into the W. That doesn't have the damage reduction from the Irelia. Adam just times it out. Very poised on that. Gets the full damage out of his kit.
Well, Adam 2-0 up. 150 gold bounty. Got his tier, got his Dirk. He's going to be sitting pretty comfortable. BDS with a small lead straight out the gates. And we're not done yet. I mean, 5 minutes into this game, Mikyx once again starting to move around the map. Now, that is, of course, because Patrik has a wave pressed under his tower. And if you look at the minimap, both xMatty and Limit are not there.
So this is, again, trying to sort out these pushing lanes with the help of a jungler support. Actually, that's one of the ways which Astralis did really, really well in their win over Rogue yesterday. And speaking of that, BDS trying to conjure up similar results there as they've put a lot of people towards the mid lane in their own regards.
I mean, you mentioned that Rogue defeat yesterday caused so much pressure onto that Ahri pick in the mid lane. Constant roams, constant ganks, constant pressure. And it felt like that's what Team BDS were trying to set up. Mikyx will get spotted out by the ward, but if you looked in the minimap, both Cinkrof and NUCLEARINT are making their way up. Limit will connect with the Zenith Blade. Cleanse now used, flash available and used as Patrik escapes with his life. Limit connects once again and gets the summoners.
Mikyx goes to try and find some greener pastures, but Patrik is left with some barren earth in the bot side. This is a really dangerous point up towards this top side, though, as much as it was dangerous towards the bot side for XL. You've got a potential freeze coming in there. Irelia can start recouping some of that farm, jumping beyond the wave. Look at these low health minions. Serious kill pressure. Cinkrof and NUCLEARINT see the danger. They want to turn this into a dive instead.
Starting to step forward. They played with vision relatively well. All of a sudden, Adam gets jumped on. He's going to use that hammer to knock Finn away. And BDS are just on that. Actually, to be fair, everybody right now is just kind of roaming and hunting. It is only Nukeduck, Patrik, NUCLEARINT, and Maddie that's kind of saying mostly where they want to.
That's largely because the energies come to them. It's not like they haven't had to blow summoners themselves. We're finally getting duo lanes back in their lane.
Well, let's take quick stock of some of the items. Plated steel caps picked up there by xMatty. Sorry, Ninja Tabby, as Dracos would have called it. Plus 13 CS for xMatty's Jhin. Now that is balanced out. Nukeduck plus 20 in the mid lane. And then, of course, Adam has a CS advantage and the kill advantage as well. So it will be important to keep track on who is able to convert that goal to combat stats, because obviously that will allow either of these teams to continue to press their advantage.
So this is where I really want to touch back on how XL have been doing recently, actually, because they've been really good at adapting to how they're playing around the map. When we saw even against that the Vitality game yesterday, things got weird real quick. Lanes in their wrong places, mid lane being the home to the 2v2. Then XL really managed to keep up with that very, very well. Now they have some gold leads that they need to avoid, some that they want to exacerbate on their own right. XL, this is now another chance for them to show their evolution as a team.
Well, can they do it right now? Markoon is going to step onto the ward, so Cinkrof is fully aware. xMatty will flash away to safety. Curtain Call is now available to him. Markoon throws down the ultimate. That's a root. Locking limit in place. The damage is coming down from XL. They pick up their first and it lands in Patrik's back pocket. Looking at the river, NUCLEARINT is making his way down, but XL get the kill.
And for the longest time, Markoon was the jungler that would go top side at level 4. It's a little later into the game, and he's ended up on bot side. We're talking about a little bit of the evolution of this team. Before they changed out a couple of these members coming in, and XL, it seems like they do have more strings on their bow, able to keep up with these different evolving game states.
I mean, I think when you look at the last 4 games from XL, I do believe we're seeing an evolution, a development from the team. We're seeing them responding to their opponents in-game. We're seeing them adapting their playstyle. XL used to be pretty telegraphed, textbook, you know? They'd have steps 1 through 10, and if one of the steps didn't work out, well, they'd just fall on their face and lose.
No, they didn't necessarily have the freestyle factor. Of course, that interview earlier from Nukeduck about the impact of Mikyx on the team, I think that was really insightful. We did hear a lot about how Mikyx helped them kind of gloss over and paper over the cracks of their vision game. You just did that as a matter of course, and it allowed them to focus on the things which they had been struggling with a little bit more as a team. They haven't been struggling with team fights. Herald has been started. But XL don't have a great entry to the pit right now.
They don't. Markoon doesn't have that Crescent Guard available either. Zenith Blade will lock onto him. Mikyx gets the knock-up onto NUCLEARINT, and the Herald is taken out. Nukeduck's running for his life, and so is Mikyx. Markoon turns back around, and here comes Patrik, here comes Finn. The run again to safety for Team BDS.
I mean, it's the evac helicopter again. The fight's not over. Mikyx's going in again.
They went back for the eye and were dissuaded by Mikyx's knock-up. So they managed to kill the Herald. They don't pick it up, and all of a sudden this game is dead even in goals.
You know, if I had a euro for every time that NUCLEARINT had managed to teleport his team to safety, I'd only have 2 euros, which isn't a lot, but it's kind of strange that it's happened twice. Managed to do it at a very important point. Luckily though for BDS, this isn't on the previous patch. This isn't about the Corki coming in with package right on that 8-minute mark, holding it around that Herald. They're adapting well to this state as well, and just seeing that Nukeduck actually wasn't in a great position to DPS down the backline.
No, I mean, you mentioned it just before XL kind of got engaged upon, that they didn't have the greatest avenue, greatest route into the pit. Nukeduck, by the way, plus 28 CS in that middle lane. We take a look here at Finn. He's still down 20, has not died again, as Adam has been able to maintain pressure, picked himself up almost at plate. It should fall in this next wave, and NUCLEARINT once again roaming. I mean, we're 10 minutes into this game, Nymaera, and it's just roam city, and Finn, flawless duet comes out, teleport being channeled, throws out the ultimate as well. Does Nukeduck use the package? He's holding on to it for now, doesn't jump into 3.
Okay, so that is fine defensive play from the side of Nukeduck. I was wondering if that was going to be a lower value package. It wasn't really around an objective being taken, as we've been so used to seeing from Corki players. It is used, however, very well defensively in that top side, dissuades that dive. Options maybe bot side now for XL.
Mikyx just hit level 6 as he was stepping forward, inferring a potential dive. Obviously holds on to it for now, as Markoon will start the Dragon. There's no contest here from Team BDS.
And speaking of that, Mikyx level 6, obviously he made himself very active on the map very, very early, trying to get on the front foot in this anime revenge match as he's going up against, of course, the former coaching staff of Grabs and Duffman. He's already won, of course, against Wonder and Perks. Really going down the list now.
I mean, he's just got that Death Note out, right?
Yeah.
Scratching off the names one by one. Just as an FYI, I mean, Rakan is Mikyx's second most played champion, 45 professional games. with a 69% win-loss ratio. I mean, how nice is that? And they're going to need Mickey to find those engages. I think Dracos was saying on the AD, it's a relatively squishy engage tool when you look down this composition from XL. So Mickey really needs to pick his timing, his angles correctly. And Finn is just having such a rough day. He has been the recipient of all of the pressure that I expected to be on Adam.
Absolutely, because again, it feels like BDS have actually, they've noted down where the flip matchups are, where you really want to have the volatility in your favor. They're moving everyone up in accordance to the wave crashes, and they're trying to deny something away from this volatile matchup.
Can XL make anything happen here? If you look at the minimap, a lot of BDS vision pushed into this northern quadrant. 4 members from Team BDS are nearby, so we could have a skirmish brewing. No teleport for Nukeduck as Finn is chunked down. Flawless duet comes out and he's left for dead. That's going to be yet another kill to Adam. XL can do nothing but watch.
No, and it seems like we saw that the members from XL did make it to top lane, but it was a wave late. Then they back off, trying to go somewhere else, redistribute those resources, and they've left too early. Just the timing not quite there. NUCLEARINT gets to go pick up this wave back in the mid lane. Credit to them, BDS's early game looking quite clean.
Now the question is, Nukeduck getting farmed up here as Adam drops the hammer down, dash forward, Markoon picks up the solo bolo in the top lane.
Oh, gets himself the Gore Drinker completion, and that's a very clean kill combo. Make sure he saves that E to close that distance yet again. No flash on Adam, great punish.
Now this is something that is important to recognize, that Mythic already completed significant farm advantage for Markoon over Cinkrof. Similar story for Nukeduck, because of the shenanigans of this early game, we do need to keep looking at those items, because I definitely had not realized quite how much damage Markoon had there.
I mean, I kind of know in the back of my head how much damage Jhin does, and that seemed like a lot as near steal came in there from Mickey. But both of these junglers have been the tip of the spear for both their teams. Markoon had a fantastic Jhin game earlier, looking to try and make a play bot, so they walked into Limit.
Limit was waiting. All of a sudden, Mickey's caught out, kicked and shot down. Markoon takes 1, 2, and third shot not even gonna land. 2 quick kills for Team BDS. Patrik left underneath the tower. Finn's gonna teleport in, but this will be a 2 versus 5. All of a sudden, Finn jumps forward. Vanguard's edge tags on to xMatty. The engage from Limit flashes away. Finn stays alive, so does Patrik. All of a sudden, it's Team BDS running for their lives.
Oh, 2v5, call it an even fight. They outplay it with the teleport coming in as well. It seems like everything's going to quickly come back down to a standstill, but that was so dangerous for quite a long time there.
It really was, and I think I want to commend BDS for responding. Adam has just got so much damage. I mean, Limit was just waiting for that blast cone. BDS read XL like a book.
And I think what we've talked about a lot in this early game is about recognition of where the plays are going to be made. It's been so long on this top side. It's really well thought out from the side of BDS to be there on time, as again, the waves are being pushed in on this bot side, something that the BDS said yesterday in one of their interviews, was saying, actually, we're not playing well around stack dives. This is a very clean play from me, though.
Well, Team BDS, they don't manage to pick up any further kills. Patrik and Finn were able to just survive as the minion wave was cleared out, of course, so BDS just tanking up way too much damage. It is still 500 gold difference. Flash used there from Patrik, respecting the engage. Cinkrof with a flash of his own. Dash back from Mickey. And this is all the game is going to be, non-stop chaos.
And all of the engages are so squishy. Even the Leona is going to get burst down in a very short amount of time. Now there's a potential dive on the bot side if Limit is going to go past that control ward. We saw the amount of damage that Adam had. Sadly, couldn't really get that much out because it hit all the minions in that last dive. Looks like the play has been aborted here.
There was a couple of seconds before that solar flare was up. I think had Finn stuck around, you have to feel that BDS were going to make a dive. And this time around for the second Herald, Nymaera, this one will be started off by XL. It doesn't look like BDS are going to try to challenge or contest. Cinkrof just clearing out the Grump. NUCLEARINT catching that wave up at the top. And NUCLEARINT still working towards his Mythic. Whereas on the XL side now, the game has slowed down just a touch.
It has.
And with the fact that now we're past 16 minutes, items are picking up. And in fact, Nukeduck's got his second package of the game.
Okay, and speaking of this, because we slow down just a little bit, use one of these tools, you look down at the minimap, just look at the amount of deep vision just all the way around this, this Dragon Pit down there. It does look like, of course, we're going to go into this now with the package available. And BDS haven't managed to use that vision line well.
Not just yet. XL start this one very, very quickly, secured their second dragon of the game. And it's going to be very, very important if XL can coerce Team BDS into the pit for a fight later on in the game. Because we're still very, very close as far as gold is concerned, but itemization-wise, let's take a look down the line here. Slithering King picked up there for Finn. He's still behind in CS as Cinkrof will jump onto Mikyx and he dashes away to safety. That's now towers traded, Nymaera.
It is towers traded. It is more gold onto the Jayce, but if you're going to play around a Jayce lead, you really do want to make those dragon fights stick out. As we said, VDS had the vision, didn't really manage to get into position to use it. Maybe they were just a little afraid of the package, just called it off and say, look, this was more for the split pushing when Adam was down there. We saw a course limit, put a lot of that vision down, and now we get ourselves a bit of a reset. Both the Heralds are taken, a little while until the Baron's up, a little while until the next Dragon's up. See now where the lane allocation is going to be again and how the vision will help these split pushes stay safe or push their leads.
Yeah, I mean, Nukeduck, that second package of the game, just used defensively to get away from the tower. I think it kind of safely secured a Dragon, but not the most promising of package uses. Now, all of a sudden, we'll get jumped on by both Limit and Cinkrof. Solar Flare comes down, Sonic Wave into Resonating Strike, and Nukeduck goes low. We get taken out by Cinkrof. Markoon's jumped into the fray. He gets a reply onto Cinkrof. Here comes Patrik as well. Moonlight Vigil's available. Bring everybody to the bottom lane. Bring the Moonlight down. And Team XL find 2 quick kills at the cost of Mikyx. All of a sudden, the curtains are called, and xMatty gets himself another.
What an utter brawl! It starts over just a simple pick. We said, okay, maybe no objectives left to be taken, but there are still side lanes that you want to really try and rip open on both of these sides. Talked about it right from the start of things. The way that these side lanes play out is going to determine a lot of how this game goes with it. Nukeduck works as his actual warding as himself. He's his own champion's vision, but walking into that duo of the jungle support so dangerous. Has a shield bow, buys him a little bit of time, but I mean, Markoon's good use of the Crescent Guard buys even more so on the side of XL. Then the real turning point is, of course, that then you've used everything on this Corki. You don't really have any follow-up CC to shut down any of the other carries that make their way to the fight.
No, definitely not. And it's just one after the other, like lemmings jumping into the fight. 7 kills to 5. XL actually have a small gold lead themselves. Taking a look at flashes, Nukeduck not available, Patrik not available. That could be problematic because while XL are pushing in the mid lane, Team BDS are setting up a potential gank.
I love this again. They're just flowing from one side of the map to the other. Of course, the last time they overcommitted, but the way that they've been moving around these waves and the vision they're setting up, particularly for Adam pushing in, has been instrumental in the way that the game has played out. XL still maintain a bit of a lead. They are losing bits and pieces on the top side right now.
This is scary. Mikyx and Patrik are being surrounded by BDS. The Zap, they're going to be able to find the target, Daily Flourish rather. That's not Jinx. And all of a sudden, XL, they managed to get a lot of damage on that mid tower, but you can see how much xMatty is hurting. Dashes forward, that Gale Force and Patrik chunked up 50-60% of his HP.
And, you know, this is another game. You know, we saw yesterday Matty was drafted towards. But this is a game where it's not necessarily lane dominance. Jhin Leona, definitely one of the stronger bot lanes in isolation. You can see what happens, actually, when he does get a lane which can get into the fights early. Like yesterday, gets involved at the 14-minute mark, too.
Now, of course, yesterday, high priority on the pick. Caitlyn, I think, was first rotation, if I recall correctly.
Something like that.
BDS played around him, so they got him ahead. This game, xMatty was basically left alone for the most part, because the game has just been non-stop skirmishes absolutely everywhere else. And as a side note, Patrik is once again a little bit of trouble. Gale forces forward, but all of a sudden the damage is turned back around. Adam stays alive as the curtain is called once more. Patrik caught with a Q in the follow-up. Mikyx sidesteps the 4th and final shot while Finn will pick up that top tower. It's not done yet as Cinkrof jumps all the way forward, forced to flash away.
Limit and Cinkrof both using their health as a resource, not quite breaking the bank, slinking away with a slither of HP, but it's just before the dragon spawns. XL have got those 2 early dragons. It's an Infernal Soul. Very important if they were to pick up that point.
I mean, you can see every single time a skirmish begins, the fight is over for whoever started it. They're just donezo.
It's a samurai movie. You draw first, lose.
One hit kill, that's it. By the way, Finn is now ahead in CS over Adam. He's been alone for the better part of the last 5 or so minutes. He managed to take that top tower. XL have got 3 towers, have got 2 dragons, have got a gold lead. So despite the fact that they are conceding deaths, they are playing the map, they are getting the objectives.
So, and as much as we're saying, oh, BDS really going around the map well, setting up their lanes to farm and pick up waves, while Mickey's trying to set up something and is getting caught.
He is indeed. Still got the flash available to him. NUCLEARINT's going to hop over the wall. That's Mikyx using the flash. Now Finn is the target. It's going to be forced to flash himself. Sonic Wave will not find its mark. But the dragon was secured while BDS were hunting a kill. XL got the objective.
Okay, so that fits into a little bit of our narrative there too. BDS trying to find something, not able to capitalize. If they do get the mid lane out of turret, that's a big win for them. It would support how they've been playing the game so far. It just allows them a bit more ingress into the enemy jungle. You can already see that they have that vision. They can see that ward in that buffer, that Raptor's pit. You see that's also going towards structure damage on other areas of the map too.
Yeah, 2 towers secured there for BDS. But you have to... I have this feeling that they're red with rage because they're just hunting the kills at the cost of objectives. Nukeduck and Finn quietly securing towers, securing dragons. They're now on Soul Point, consistently like interrupting backs, just being a nuisance to BDS. Well, XL have got their eyes on the prize.
Getting side value. It's not quite as visible as something like a kill, but it's resetting resets can be quite impactful in that way. Speaking of how BDS are kind of getting a little bit red-eyed, getting a bit strong, bold about these plays, that actually fits into our picture of them too, because actually a lot of their games have fallen out of their hands because they've overdone that. And sadly that happened again on that bot side, on that tower dive. They went a little too far, they went a little too deep, chasing after low percentage plays. Question is, can they stabilize after they've made that play? This is, again, quite a volatile comp to play.
It is, and of course with 3.5 minutes till the Infernal Drake, Team BDS have just strung together 3 tower kills. You have to think that that will be a priority. They have to place wards, they will have to contest. So if BDS want to set up to secure this next dragon, what do you want to see them do?
So what I don't want them to see them do is hope to get inhibitor turrets because, well, maybe a dive is the way they do it.
Well, that is the BDS approach this game. Solar Flare lands onto Markoon, and there's no further follow-up. While that's happening, by the way, Finn shoving in the top lane.
So again, and getting more resources. Yeah. They're not clumping as much. They're farming more lanes. They're getting more farm as a result of that. What the question is now towards BDS is, you've taken all the easy turrets. What do you have to do to get the next ones? You need to start threatening something, make an explosive play, and they're going towards the mid.
It's fine. Just force a fight. That's the way of Team BDS. They almost take down Patrik. He stays alive a couple seconds longer before finally being shut down. Now Limit falls to Nukeduck as Cinkrof gets himself another. 2 members of XL are down. 2.5 minutes until the dragon. Baron is up, so it's just, hey, force the fight, force the fight.
Force the fights, but there's no real follow-on from this.
Nope.
If you do get an inhibitor turret or an inner turret, that's a tangible benefit which can make the next play you go towards a lot easier. I don't mind this approach, but again, it's just so hard to trust BDS when they've done this before and it's bitten them so hard.
It screams of, I'm going to use this word, it might be too harsh, of inexperience maybe, where the focus is so much on, if we get a kill, we can press the advantage. But you don't look at the timers, you don't look at the map, you don't look at the vision, right?
So I'm not going to pin it on inexperience. I think it's an experience at a different level. Of course, a lot of these players have found success taking these kinds of fights at EU Masters, winning big tournaments and finding their success and breaking those habits out of a player because it won't work at this level can be quite difficult. We're yet to see that next phase of BDS being a bit more respectful and finding the more clinical plays.
Yeah, controlled, right? Because it's now 90 seconds until the Infernal Soul. BDS have been able to generate a minor gold lead from securing the towers and the kills, and they've pushed Vision relatively deep here into XL's Eastern Quadrant. But now, 70 seconds, correction. XL starting to make their way around. Nukeduck has got teleport available to him, level 15. BDS hunting for the kills. If they can get a kill now, that may open up that dragon.
Potentially could. Of course, they're playing around the Jhin as well. Very good in these situations. Looking to see, look at these Jhin traps, stop some of those flank angles, have the W to follow up from long range as well. Looking to see how BDS can start trying to pick apart XL as they make their approach.
So much damage onto Mikyx, but that is another Gale Force forward from xMatty. If he continues to do that, there may be an opportunity to punish it, anticipate the play, wait for it, and then make a counter. 35 seconds for the Infernal. Nukeduck has recalled. He's got the package, I believe, level 15 right now. And this could be the make or break fight. If BDS lose the Infernal Soul, there is so much damage in XL, it may be very, very difficult to come back from
and
that.
it's also Infernal Soul with the likes of the Corki. However, the Jhin ult is pulled first.
So much damage onto Patrik, who is rooted in place. Markoon goes forward. Mikyx trying to find someone to charm, but he's locked up. He's knocked down, and he's sent back to the fountain. Nukeduck uses the package to run away, and it's not going to be enough just yet. Now all of a sudden, Finn re-engages the fight. Nukeduck's got one, Patrick's got another, and Finn's running for his life. Dashes forward onto NUCLEARINT, but it's a 3 for 2 in favor of Team BDS.
I mean, if it's gonna work, may as well go towards the more ballsy plays. Both smites are now down to the flashing forwards.
NUCLEARINT's continuing to chase. Nukeduck chunked down, 500-600 HP, gigantic shield. NUCLEARINT not going to be able to find the kill, but that will open up the dragon.
So scrappy. It starts in the mid lane again. You'd think that maybe the Jhin has the ability to, particularly with that Jayce, pick off enough HP to turn the fight in their favor. It's a very close run thing. It is going to be BDS at least avoiding that Infernal Soul. Very important fight for them. But as we said, it's a close run thing. Starts with Nukeduck looking for something on the flank. This is not, of course, the full poke Corki. You're not getting as much value out of the big, the big ones, and Mikyx sadly not getting enough value out of the quickness either.
Yeah, neither of Markoon or Mikyx able to jump onto the target, so BDS disengage relatively well. Yet again, another chaotic fight. Squishy compositions all around. Team BDS, they get the kill advantage. They have the gold lead. They get the dragon, and we're going to be in for more kills. That's what it means.
I appreciate that. Gets give you a bit of a workout as Markoon really looking to stretch those vocal cords.
Gets interrupted. Helicopter is shut down. Limit's lingering for now because Cinkrof is in the river. He may be in a little bit of trouble as Finn steps forward. So XL, they get their 9th kill. BDS with 13. Gold is once again even. And Mikyx, no flash available to him, gets caught up on that Zenith Blade and shut down by Cinkrof. It's just, yeah, it's a little messy.
Now, I am a guitarist. I love picks. I'm not sure if I like this amount of picks. There's just so much ability to get punished by both of these teams. Whether it is something like the package coming in, that's a little harder to plan around, of course. When you've got the Jhin on one side, you've got the Rakan. Both of these teams are trying to play the same style, but neither of them have the disengage tools to really make it out alive if they're the ones on the bad end of it.
And Team BDS, I think, are hitting so many of their skill shots, right? Like, I think Limit has been terrifying on this Leona. xMatty has threaded the needle on those Jhin abilities time and time again. And it's allowing BDS to remain in this game. But I do think if you zoom out, if you look at how it's played out, assuming XL do not get overrun in a team fight, they have played the map better. But I think they are losing the fights.
They are losing the fights, and as much as you can make those improvements in the macro and give yourself a pat on the back, if you lose this game, it's actually very, very important. XL are currently on a 2-win streak. They'd love to keep that alive, back-to-back wins, something that the other 5 and 5 teams don't currently have. Very important for them at this point in time.
It really, really is. I mean, quick look at the standings here as we may be building up towards this final fight. XL 5 and 5, BDS 3 and 7. You see Mad Lion's Vitality also at 5 and 5. Second half of spring. If you'll humor me for a second, just before you were talking about standings.
Yes.
Mid-game, late-game team fights. It was one of these specific things that Youngbuck talked about and how he was hoping Mikyx would build up, develop, grow on the XL roster. He really needs to step up now in this game with so much on the line when you look towards the postseason. And he's on a champion that cannot afford any mistakes.
Absolutely not. It's threading the needle in its own right. He's trying to position aggressively, trying to be that threat, because if he does hit the backline, only takes one fight at this point. You get yourself a Baron. We know how volatile these side lanes are. That's been the story of the early and mid game. Question is, will it be the story of the late game as well?
Well, a minute and a half until the Infernal Soul. NUCLEARINT
on a deep
is coming from the top lane. Limit waiting to see if he flashes over the wall. So much damage onto Cinkrof. Green-white there from Patrik. Deadly Flourish holds Nukeduck in place. But 1 minute 10 for the Infernal Soul. No flanking opportunity before the fight set up. NUCLEARINT was pushing the top lane. That's not something I think I've seen for 30 minutes, so kudos to Team BDS.
Because every time they have been pushing the top lane, someone's come to kill him. That play does fall apart a little, unfortunately, for side of BDS. They had a great long flank, but you can't walk into the Caliber and Crescendum turrets. It is the best weapon combo for peeling back with Aphelios if he wants to play with that kind of alternate long range. Now he's got more setup weapons coming into this Dragon. Look for that Gravitum setting up for the Irelia to get the big ults. It will help on that temporary engage, because Mikyx is struggling to do it alone right now.
It really is. There's just too much damage. He hasn't been able to find a pocket of vision to sneak through, although on a secret mission to
Might have done it now.
down grabs. The Oracles will not spot him out. Mikyx may be retreating for safety here. 25 seconds for the Soul. What do you think of BDS's vision here? Because it looks like they are potentially first in the rivers.
So BDS have got themselves the vision around the objective, that's fine, but you look at what XL have on the enemy side of the jungle. They have flank teleports. They have the ability to get so many people into the backline, and if this does become a multi-directional affair, I'm going to favor XL at this point.
Nukeduck, you've got a big package. Will you slap it in the face of BDS? XL step forward into the Dragon's Pit. It's time for another fight. This could be the final one.
Cinkrof on the flank.
Peels back the curtains. 1 and 3 hit. Firing number 4, holding on to it for now. Finally tags up Finn. Markoon is inside the pit. The Crescent Guard is starting to wear off. Cinkrof looking for a flank of his own. Ward hops back into the pit. Kicks Markoon! He buys time with the stopwatch. There's the Vanguard's Edge coming out from Finn. It's a fight to multiple fronts. Nukeduck and Matt trading blows. They're going to be able to pick up 1, pick up 2 for XL, pick up 3 for Patrik. He's not done yet. Turns back towards the Dragon. NUCLEARINT escapes with his life. 4 members of BDS down, and the Soul to XL.
And BDS, as much as they fought so many of these strappy fights around the mid lane, well, when it comes from push to shove, they lose the Soul fight.
NUCLEARINT runs for his life. No helicopter needed today. But XL have got 20, 30-second death timers on the side of BDS. They managed to take themselves a tower. They're going to continue pushing towards the inhib.
Oh, such a tense affair, but turns out you can't avoid Mikyx's anime revenge story. I think this might be the end of the game.
Oh, turning their attention to the Nexus turrets. NUCLEARINT's up 7 seconds for Cinkrof. Limit's got no ultimate available to him. Dashing forward, NUCLEARINT continuing to throw down those overloads. Dash forward from Finn. The first tower falls. All of a sudden, Limit's taken out. That's one quick kill for NUCLEARINT. Did XL overstay their welcome? 2 teleports now being channeled back into the middle lane. Cinkrof dashes in, runs away. Bring the hammer down. Adam gets 1 before he's taken out himself. Now all of a sudden, XL are running away. More kills in the mayhem.
Nexus is alive, but we can't disregard the power of that Infernal Soul. Yes, it's still going on. But XL walk away from this entire elongated affair, the absolute victors. Markoon didn't have the ult at this point in the fight. Cinkrof tries to utilize that, but you're against the stopwatch, you're against the flash. Markoon buys up the Lee Sin ultimate, and while it's the backline of XL doesn't come out unscathed, you can see that Matty went on a 1-man mission to take down the Corki. You need that Jhin alive to win the DPS race yourself.
I mean, that Aphelios, the Moonlight Vigil, did so much damage. That was also the very first pick for XL on the red side. They only have a minuscule 1,500 gold lead, but with 32 kills into the game at 35 minutes. And frankly speaking, while XL should win this one, if they do get wiped in a team fight...
All it takes is one fight.
Exactly. xMatty is waiting in the mid lane. Mikyx, no flash. The quickness is there. And here comes Adam as well. Level 17, reaching nearly full build. And we're just waiting for those opportunities there, Nymaera.
Whenever I see people grouping in the mid lane, given how the rest of this game has gone, I get a little bit tense. XL clearing that vision, getting a staging point around the Baron. BDS looking to not get into too many of these choke points themselves, really don't want to get free-fired by that Aphelios and the Corki.
Nukeduck is the only member of XL that has a flash. On the side of BDS, no one has a flash. And we're relying on their kits alone. Cinkrof was looking for an opportunity. BDS trying to push the wave. Finn is in the top lane, shoving it in. He's got teleport available to him. Nukeduck gets burned down by the shock blast. He escapes for now. Stays alive. How the hell did you get out? Mikyx is running for his life as he's been shot to pieces. And Cinkrof somehow gets killed in the melee.
I mean, he might not be a poke Corki, but he has the shield bow as a recompense for that. Manages to survive, and Cinkrof on the 1-man mission goes down for it.
XL gonna take out the tower in the top lane. Send 2 back. I was wondering if there was going to be a base race. And again, I will reiterate, XL should win this game, but you can see
Very
how
fast
tense these fights are.
here. This is the thing is though, because of this dance, we had resets to defend the base from XL, but you look at the Crescendum Calibrum combo, the auto attack resets and the chakrams flying, this Baron is melted. Very quick and easy objective, won through the hard-fought macro of XL.
Macro. Nukeduck is going to be pushing this
There
middle
were
lane.
resets! They went around the map!
Yeah, I think that'll have me chuckling for a while. Thank you.
What do you mean?
Thank you, Alex. Oh, XL. No, it is to be fair. It is fair. Like, I'm being a bit mean. I do think XL have had, they played the map just one step better than
That's
BDS.
all they needed to be. In this case, all they needed to be, because as you were saying, they kind of should be winning at this point. They should be winning hard. They have one of the best combat souls in the game, and they have the range to use it as well. It's been a little bit hard fought. Maybe could have been done a bit cleaner, but they do walk away with the prize at the end of it. Thank you very much, Trevor.
Teleports are available now for both Finn and Nukeduck. Adams is still on cooldown, and Super Minions are pushing into this middle lane. Just keep looking at the minimap. Every single time XL or BDS move towards their opponents, because there's always somebody looking for a flank.
Right, so last time we were talking, one of the fights before saying, oh, Nukeduck's the only person with Flash. That's a very important resource to keep track of. A lot of summoners available now. We also have a lot of GAs available, and there's a flank, a potential Realm Warp. They're going for it.
Realm Warp is being channeled. Nobody takes the ride, though, and all of a sudden, Cinkrof and NUCLEARINT left with egg in their face. Cinkrof running for his life. Deadly Flourish doesn't find a target, and while all of the waving is happening in the bottom lane, Finn is able to pick up the inhibitor turret in the top lane. Now, XL continue the pressure. Baron buff is still on, and xMatty trying to run for his life. Gets jumped on by Markoon. Uses the Gale Force to safety. Finn continuing to use the minions, the Baron-empowered Siege, to secure another inhibitor. And XL, they're setting up for the final fight.
Setting up. Look for Mikyx. Look what's happening with the big engaged tools. Has grabbed him as well. Cinkrof looks for the kick.
He does not find it, and he gets sent packing. Mikyx secures the kill, as now NUCLEARINT gets jumped on by Markoon, dashing forward, and Mikyx flashes away to safety. He gets caught up, but he's pulling the attention of BDS. Here comes Finn for revenge from the laning phase. XL take down BDS.
2-0 week. Out of nowhere, it felt like XL really pulling out all the stops.
XL's wins this weekend are some of the most entertaining games I've had the pleasure of watching and casting. Yesterday against Vitality, today against BDS. XL now 6-5. What was their head-to-head with Vitality? Remind me.
So Vitality, they have a 2-0 over.
Oh, and Fnatic?
Oh, they have a 1-1 with them.
Oh, that's so interesting there, isn't it? That shocking statement. We'll have to review it. Congratulations to XL. It wasn't the cleanest, but it was very, very fun. Key player of the game at LEC on Twitter. Markoon, Nukeduck, and Patrik are your nominees.
Yeah, see, I'm actually slightly more interested in another set of names, though. You see, I've got this book here, which is it's some of Mickey's notes, and it says that there's Wonder in there, and there's Perks in there, and oh, look, there's a Grabs and a Duffman put down in the notebook as well.
The Mickey Death Note is coming to get you. XL get this hugely important win in the race for playoffs, and after the break, Markoon will join Ashley to talk about their victory. I mean, that was